squash his beef with Yo like he did everybody else. I think it's more so about the girl, his wife, and no disrespect to her, but would you be willing to squash some beef with somebody who had sex with your wife? You know, maybe while you was in prison, I don't know when it was or whatever.
Oh, Lord.
It's supposed to be your friend.
It looks like the tension between Yo Gotti and Gucci Mane is heating up again, and this time, it's deeper than rap. Word on the streets is that after Pooh Shiesty came home, Gotti started moving shady, plotting behind closed doors against the very artist and empire he helped build. Yeah, you heard that right. The same CMG empire that once looked untouchable might be cracking from the inside out. While everyone's been celebrating success, there's been a storm brewing behind the scenes. Gotti allegedly playing chess while Pooh was still locked up, knowing it could reignite that deadly beef that nearly destroyed both camps years ago. The truth behind how a simple record deal turned into a full-blown street saga is wild, and way more calculated than fans ever imagined. The industry's on edge, and everyone's tuned in to see how it unfolds, but let's keep it real. Social media's been buzzing like crazy ever since whispers started about Pooh Shiesty wanting out of 1017, while Yo Gotti keeps posting him like he's already CMG property. Now picture this, Pooh Shiesty finally touching down after doing time on his Fed bid, ready to jump back in the game, get to the bag, and reclaim his spot. But what he walks into is a whole different landscape. The rules changed, the power shifted, and the loyalty, it's looking shaky. Rumor has it, while he was locked down, his own label boss started switching up when it came to money moves and respect. And before you think this is just another industry contract drama, nah, this is personal. This story is about loyalty, respect, and old wounds that never really healed. See, it's one thing to lose an artist, but when your top artist starts linking up with your biggest rival, that's when business gets emotional. Let's take it back for a minute. Back when Gucci Mane and Yo Gotti were actually tight. We're talking early 2000s when both of them were running the South with pure hunger and raw ambition. Gucci held it down for Zone 6, Atlanta, while Gotti represented North Memphis to the fullest. Real recognized real, and they had genuine respect for each other. Not just industry talk for the cameras, but mutual understanding built from the same struggle. Gucci was already crowned the Trap King, but he saw something in Gotti, a reflection of that same grind, that same fire to make it out and build something legendary. For those who weren't around then, understand this. Back in those days, two established rappers dropping collab mixtapes wasn't normal. It was groundbreaking. When Gucci and Gotti teamed up, it was like watching two titans sharpen each other's blades. Every verse went hard, every hook hit different, and the streets couldn't get enough. But here's where things started to shift. October 17th, 2012. That date meant everything to Gucci. It was his brand, his legacy, his day, 1017. He'd been hyping the release of his Trap God mixtape for months. Every interview, every post, every headline locked in on that moment. And what happened next? That's where loyalty got tested, and the beef was born. In this industry, timing is everything. When you drop your project can make or break your entire rollout, especially back in the mixtape era, when units were moving hand to hand and real buzz came from the streets, not just streaming numbers. Gucci had that October 17th date locked in tight. Everyone around him knew this wasn't just another release. It was his statement, his way of stamping October 17th as more than a label. It was a movement, a brand, a lifestyle. The plan was flawless. The marketing budget was already out there. The features were secured, and the distribution was set up perfectly. Everything was pointing toward October 17th being Gucci's day. The streets were waiting, the fans were hyped, and his team was ready to celebrate another win. But then, out of nowhere, Yo Gotti drops a bombshell. He announces he's releasing CM7, The World Is Yours, on the exact same day. Yeah, you heard that right, the exact same day. Now Gotti claimed he didn't know, but let's keep it real. That timing looked real suspicious. These weren't two random artists. They were tight, making music together, moving as brothers in the game. Gucci had been shouting that date out for months. Every interview, every post, every radio drop. How could Gotti not know? According to Gotti, when he found out about the overlap, he was excited. He said he thought it'd be dope for both of them to drop on the same day. Two Southern heavyweights shaking up the game at once. In his mind, it was a celebration of their friendship and dominance in the South. Sounds good in theory, right? But here's where he messed up. Gotti was thinking like a fan, not a businessman. Let me break it down so it makes sense. When two artists with similar fan bases drop on the same day, It splits the audience in half. The streams, the sales, the attention, everything gets divided. It's like opening two soul food spots right next door to each other. Sure, both might get customers, but neither one's gonna sell out like they would have alone. But this goes deeper than just numbers. In the music industry, your release date is your moment. You're shot to dominate the headlines, control the blogs, and own the conversation. When someone else, especially someone in your circle, drops the same day, it dilutes your impact. Instead of every platform talking about your project, now the spotlight's split in two. And there's also the psychology behind it. Gucci had spent months hyping up October 17th. It wasn't just a date, it was symbolic. It represented his legacy, his brand, his trap empire. That was his day, his crown. So when someone else, even a friend, stepped into that same spotlight, it wasn't just overlap, it felt like invasion. From that moment, the energy between them shifted forever. What was supposed to be brotherhood started looking more like quiet competition, and the tension was just getting started. To Gucci, that move felt like a straight-up violation, like somebody stepped on something sacred. That October 17th date wasn't just another drop. It was a symbol of his legacy, his grind, his brand. So when Yo Gotti picked the same day, Gucci wasn't trying to hear no explanations. According to Gotti, he hit Gucci's line immediately after realizing the conflict, thinking they could talk it out like brothers, but Gucci didn't answer. Gotti tried again, still no response. He even reached out to folks in Gucci's camp, asking them to tell Gucci to hit him back, but that call never came. And honestly, you can't blame Gucci for feeling some type of way. It wasn't just about the mixtape. Gotti had just dropped that I Got Racks remix featuring T.I. and Jeezy, and everybody in the game knew that Jeezy was Gucci's biggest rival at the time. That alone was like pouring gas on a fire that didn't need to burn hotter. Then Gucci finally broke his silence, not through a phone call, but through a tweet. It was short, but the message was loud and clear. Why would another artist put their mixtape out on October 17th if they ain't Brick Squad? You ain't me. Trap God. That was Gucci's way of calling out the disrespect without dropping names, but everyone knew who he meant. Gotti said they eventually spoke on the phone, and he thought they squashed it. Out of respect, he even pushed his release date to October 18th. But here's the catch. During that call, Gucci wasn't even stressing about the date anymore. What really had him hot was Gotti doing that collab with Jeezy and T.I. Gucci aired it out publicly not long after, saying on the radio, "My main problem with him is that he dropped his mixtape on October 17th and tried to ride my wave. Why would you drop it if you ain't 1017? That wasn't just shade, that was pain talking. Gucci felt betrayed, like his homie was trying to use his shine for attention. Then came the breaking point. Gucci dropped Birds of a Feather and didn't hold back. On the track, he said straight up, "I used to mess with Gotti until he turned into a buster." That line hit like a bullet. Imagine your own brother in the game calling you out by name for the whole world to hear. Gotti felt that one deep, but at first he tried to keep it cool, play the high road. But eventually, enough was enough. Gotti fired back with "Have Mercy," making it clear he wasn't about to let Gucci talk down on him without answering. The diss wasn't wild or hateful, but the message was solid. He wasn't backing down. From that point on, the friendship was dead, the respect was cracked, and the peace was gone. Then came the twist that really set things off. During a Breakfast Club interview, Gotti casually revealed he had been with Keyshia Kawhi, who's now Gucci's wife, while Gucci was locked up. He brushed it off saying, "You know how the game go. I ain't know you was in love and all that." But that one line, that changed everything. Let's break this whole situation down, because the story gets wild once you see how it really played out. So Gucci was sitting behind bars after violating his probation. He had only completed 25 out of 600 hours of community service. The judge wasn't having it and snatched his probation, sentencing him to a full year in jail. During that stretch, Gucci couldn't defend himself, couldn't move freely, and barely had communication with Keyshia Kawhi, the woman he was serious about. And that's when Yo Gotti decided to make his move. According to Gotti, he didn't know Gucci was really locked in with Keyshia like that. He said it was casual, just something that happened, part of the game as he called it. But come on now, that's still foul. Even if you don't know how serious it is, you don't mess with your boy's girl while he's locked up. That's a straight violation of the code. What made it worse was how Gotti talked about it in interviews, laughing, smiling, acting like it wasn't a big deal. That right there, that's what had people calling it snake behavior. Then things took another turn. Gucci ended up back behind bars in 2013, facing serious time, 20 years on 2 federal gun charges. The feds caught him twice with weapons, and with his record, they were ready to bury him under the jail. But believe it or not, that time locked up became his blessing in disguise. It saved his life. When Gucci finally came home in 2016, he was unrecognizable. The man was reborn, clean, focused, and disciplined. He dropped weight fast, losing over 40 pounds in 2 months just by detoxing off the lean and cutting all the bad habits. He had a clear mind, a strong relationship, and a new mission. He wasn't chasing beef anymore. He was chasing success. He had a new baby on the way, his label was thriving, and his mindset had matured way past the chaos that used to follow him. The old Gucci would have been on Twitter wilding out, throwing shots left and right, stirring new drama every week. But this new Gucci, he was about peace, progress, and pure business. His music sharpened up, his moves got smarter, and his brand went global. Instead of just talking about empire building, he was doing it. Fast forward to 2020, and Gucci made one of his smartest moves yet, signing a young fire spitter from Memphis named Pooh Shiesty. This kid had that raw, unfiltered street energy that reminded everyone of the old Gucci, but with a fresh twist that connected with the new wave. Pooh came from the same type of struggle, grinding out the mud, hungry to make it out, carrying that real street hunger that you can't fake or teach. For Gucci, signing Pooh wasn't just business, it was symbolic. It was like seeing his younger self stepping into the game with the same fire, same ambition, and the same dream to turn pain into power. But then everything flipped again. Pooh Shiesty caught a federal case that shut his whole rundown in an instant. In October 2021, he was arrested on serious firearms conspiracy charges and eventually got hit with a 5-year federal sentence. For most artists, that's the end of the road. Doing time like that can destroy momentum, kill the buzz, and make fans move on fast. The music industry don't wait for nobody. During his bid, though, Gucci Mane kept showing love publicly. He told fans how much he missed Pooh, how he couldn't wait for him to come home, and how 1017 was holding it down for their star player. Gucci even made a bold move. He dropped almost his entire roster, keeping only Big Scar, Fujiano, and Enchanting active, showing that Pooh was still his main focus. To the outside world, it looked like loyalty at its finest. But while Pooh was locked down, the game didn't stop spinning. The industry kept evolving. New artists were blowing up, streaming numbers were soaring, and the price tags for hot talent were going through the roof. By the time Pooh Shiesty was nearing his release, his value had skyrocketed. His name still carried weight, his fan base had stayed loyal, and anticipation for his return was huge. That's when Yo Gotti stepped into the picture, and that's where the drama picked back up. CMG had been on a major signing spree, snatching up the hottest talent in the game and locking down serious deals. Gotti was moving like a boss, positioning CMG as the most powerful Southern label in the business. And out of nowhere, he starts posting Pooh Shiesty on his social media, showing love, giving shout-outs, and hyping up his name. But these weren't just friendly posts. These were promotional plays. The type of posts that rack up millions of views, grab attention, and make people wonder if a new deal was already in motion. Gotti even sent one of his biggest artists, Glorilla, to collab with Pooh, making it clear this wasn't random. The timing was too perfect. See, Gotti's no rookie. He's a strategist. Sources close to the situation said he knew Pooh's 1017 contract was almost up for renewal, and he saw a window of opportunity. While everyone thought it was just love being shown, Gotti was setting the stage, positioning CMG as the better home for Pooh once he got out. It was a chess move, not a coincidence. When it finally came time to talk contracts again, that's when tension started to rise. Word is, Gucci was offering Pooh a renewal deal, but the numbers weren't matching what Pooh's market value had grown into. For an artist with hype that high and demand that strong, those figures felt low. We're talking about lowball offers so disrespectful they had insiders shaking their heads. The numbers Gucci was reportedly offering Pooh Shiesty didn't reflect his streaming stats, his street influence, or his cultural weight. These were rookie-level deals, numbers you'd offer a newcomer, not an artist who'd already brought in millions for the label. To many in the industry, it felt like Gucci was leaning on Pooh's loyalty instead of rewarding it properly, and that rubbed people the wrong way. Now, Gucci isn't the type to run to Twitter or post subliminals about money. The old Gucci might have been online airing it out for the world to see. But the new Gucci, he keeps his business behind closed doors. Still, word from people close to the situation is that he's not happy, especially with Yo Gotti stepping in, trying to scoop up his biggest star. And honestly, who could blame him? Imagine investing your time, your money, your belief into an artist, helping them rise from the trenches to fame, and then your rival tries to snatch them once they get hot. That's personal. It's like raising a kid from nothing and watching your enemy try to claim them once they start shining. From Gucci's view, this has to feel like deja vu. Once again, Gotti trying to benefit from something he built. First, Gotti tried to ride Gucci's wave with that October 17th release stunt. Now, years later, he's allegedly trying to take Gucci's biggest artist. But here's the difference. The game's changed since their last round. Back then, both men were on even footing. Now Gotti's sitting on a much bigger platform with deeper pockets, major label ties, and arguably more industry power. CMG is one of the hottest brands in the game right now, while 1017 has struggled to stay visible outside of Pooh's success. So the million-dollar question is, what's Pooh Shiesty gonna do? On one side, he owes everything to Gucci, the man who believed in him before anyone else, gave him a voice, and turned him into a star. That's real loyalty, the kind that's supposed to mean everything in this business. But on the other side, Gotti's offering the bag, the visibility, and the resources that could take Pooh's career to a whole new level. This whole situation says a lot about how the music game has evolved. Back in the day, beef meant boundaries. You didn't mess with your ops people out of respect. Now, it's all about opportunity. Loyalty comes second when the money's on the table. But even in this new digital era, one thing hasn't changed. Disrespect is still disrespect. If Pooh Shiesty walks away from 1017 to join CMG, it sends a loud message to every artist watching. Loyalty only goes so far. If your label doesn't treat you right, someone else will. And that could trigger a whole new wave of artists demanding their worth or switching sides altogether. If you're into real hip-hop breakdowns like this, business moves, label power plays, and the truth behind the headlines, stick around. Hit that like, drop a comment, and keep watching. Because in this game, loyalty is everything until it's not. Till it's